So I would welcome Dr. Megha. She is a retina consultant at PC Sharma Eye Hospital, Ambala, and she's an excellent surgeon, a young ophthalmologist. So I would like her to present her case.
Thank you, ma'am. Are my slides visible?
Yes, they are visible.
So good evening to all my seniors and colleagues. I would like to thank Ambala Ophthalmological Society and Novartis to give me an opportunity to present my initial experience in this new drug. I'll be presenting 3 cases, the first of which is a 71-year-old male who came to us with the complaints of blurring of vision in his left eye since 3 to 4 months. There's a past history of he had been treated with aflibercept injections in his right eye elsewhere 1 year back. And for his left eye, he had been given 2 intravitreal Avastin injections in his left eye in August and September 2020. He came for a second opinion to us. This was his fundus picture in right and left eye. The right eye showed scarred CNVM with a vision of counting fingers at 3 meters in his right eye. Left early and fluid, which was seen on OCT. The OCT showed pockets of subretinal fluid and subtle PED, and his vision was 636. At this point of time, we completed the 3rd dose of Avastin, and which was given on 30th October. After 1 month of follow-up, the subretinal fluid pockets did not change much in there was not much reduction, and his vision was also stable on 636 only. And at this point of time, we counsel the patient for this new drug, brolucizumab. So the patient came back after understanding all the pros and cons of this injection. The patient came back to us after a week, and we gave the first injection on 12th of December 2020. So this is the next day OCT picture. You can see significant reduction of the subretinal fluid, subfoveally as well as nasal to fovea. And his vision had also improved from 636 to 624. The patient was quite happy with the vision by next day itself. This is this 2 weeks follow-up when his vision had improved from 636 to 612, and the SRF had completely resolved. The width and height of the PED had also reduced significantly from the first visit. After this, we had called the patient for after 2 weeks to give the second injection, second dose, but unfortunately, he turned up after a month. His vision was stable. There was no evidence of SRF, but we could see some amount of intraretinal edema. So we counseled the patient again for the second dose, second loading dose, and he came to us on 17th of February 2021. That is about 2 months from the first dose, and his vision had also dropped from 612 to 618. So we gave the second dose of brolucizumab at this point of time. On the and last follow-up we have today itself, and his subretinal fluid has completely resolved, and there is still the PD was well and didn't mount any inflammation. So coming to my second case, this was a male patient, 70 years old male. He was since September 2009. First presentation, his vision was 6 with some drusen on the posterior pole, and in left eye, his vision was 636 with the CNVM complex. So this was his first presentation. We counseled him and gave him 3 doses of Lucentis, first on 11th of September, then 16th of October. The second dose was given, and then the third dose was given on 20th of November. So after 3 doses of Lucentis, the SRF had completely resolved. His vision was improved from 636 to 69, and the patient was quite happy. So we gave the 4 after 6 of previous injections, stable was minor PED, which was seen. There was no evidence of subretinal fluid. So we went ahead with the next dose. He was again called after 6 weeks, but he could not come to us due to the lockdown condition. When he came to us, it was in about 3 months, 3.5 months from the previous injection, and he complained of blurring of vision in this eye since 1 month. His vision had dropped to 618, and if you can appreciate, there is a pocket of SRF right here. So we gave the next dose and counseled the patient that because of the delay in the treatment, his vision was reducing and he needs monthly injections. We gave monthly injections of Lucentis on 19th of June and then 25th of July. His vision improved, he was satisfied, but there were still some pockets of SRF. We had called him after a month itself. Patient came slightly late. Also increased. He complained of cardia now, and his vision had dropped 12. So at this point of time, I advised him aflibercept injection. He did not turn up for the next 3 months to us. And in December 2020, he came to us with this similar picture. Not much of the changes were seen. And because we had seen good results from my first injection, so I counseled him from the first case. So I counseled him for this new drug, and we gave this new drug to him on 2nd of January 2021. So this is the OCT picture on the first day when the injection was given. These are the serial OCT pictures. This is on 3rd of January 2021, next day follow-up, 15 days follow-up, and 1 month follow-up. 1 month, his vision had improved from 612 to 69. There was no evidence of subretinal fluid, but the notching in the PED was still present, and he still complained of metamorphopsia, which was his main complaint. We had advised this patient for the second dose, but he has not turned up as of now. So coming to my third case, this is a case of 57-year-old female who was under our treatment since 2014. She had been given multiple injections, both Avastin followed by Lucentis. She was stable on treat and extend regimen till 2018. But in 2018, she was lost to follow-up to us for about 4 to 5 months and came back to us in December 2018. This was her fundus photo. There was a large subretinal hemorrhage along the inferior arcade, a lot of fibrosis and exudation at the macula, and her vision had dropped from 624 to CF at 1 meters. So we did an angiography and ICG was done, and clearly some polyps were seen. So we advised her treatment of aflibercept, 3 loading doses, and PDT, which was done at AIIMS. So this is the post-PDT picture. So you can see the subretinal fluid has resolved completely. The PEDs have settled. And this is after the second dose. And this is the inferior picture where there was subretinal hemorrhage and everything. So all these polyps and everything, PEDs have resolved. The subretinal fluid had vanished. So she completed her 3rd dose in March 2019 of aflibercept. And this is a pre and post 3 loading doses and PDT treatment. The subretinal hemorrhage had resolved. Her vision had improved to 660, but there was some subretinal fibrosis due to which her vision did not go back to what it was, that is 618, when she was stable on treatment. So she was kept on the same treatment. After 2 months, she was given the 4th dose. And after that, she was lost to follow up to us. She had went to Germany and for about 6 months. And after that, she was stuck in the lockdown there itself. So she came back to us directly on December 2020. So this was her picture in December 2020. You can see a lot of exudation at the macula. There were large PEDs and fibrosis with pigmentary changes at the macula. So at this point of time, nothing much could be done, and the patient was counseled that injections may or might not help. but her son had already researched this molecule of brolucizumab, and he was very persistent to get this injection done. So this was the first case I had given a PCV injection. So this injection had been given recently on 28th of February 2021, and this is her OCT picture at that time. And this is after 2 to 3 days. You can see the cystic spaces have significantly reduced. There's this pocket of SRF which has resolved. And still for a third day, I think it's a good improvement, and we are waiting for her next follow-ups. So the main points of discussions, I believe, after my initial and early experience, that I have not given any injections in treatment naive eyes. These are already treated eyes, and this drug shows good results in already treated eyes also. So I believe it may work wonders in treatment naive eyes. Secondly, the schedule for post-operative follow-up should be very strict. That is day 1, day 14, and day 30. This is basically to look for any intraocular inflammation, because this injection shows about a 4% intraocular inflammation in the Hawk and Harrier trials. So the patient should be told clearly and explained every like and come immediately if any. So all in all, this new drug is a favorable alternative with good anatomical as well as visual outcomes, combining with prolonged duration of effect, thereby decreases financial burden on the patient. Thus, it may improve the compliance of the patient to the therapy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Megha. You have really motivated us and looking forward for good cases.